Hey guys, Ebony Monique here with EFG Business, coming to inspire, teach, and educate. Always reminding you to be a reflection of your own self. If you're new here, the channel's all about faith, family, business, and hair. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All right, guys, so this is going to be a three-part video. I do not want to ramble on and on and on. And as you can see, from the title, we're gonna be talking about the way that you get your credit score. So typically, we all want to see 100% on anything that we do. As people, we strive for 100% in doing what we do. So you can think of your credit score as trying to reach 100%. I know that the score is typically ranges from, I believe, 300 to 850 credit score. And they are doing some changes to it. So there are 5 different categories. We have credit utilization, payment history, new credit, length of credit, which is your credit history, and then we have credit mix. Okay, that first one, the credit utilization, is talking about how you use your credit. All of the credit that you are given and lended, how are you using that credit? So if, let's just say, I have 5 credit cards, $1,000, $1,000, $1,000, $1,000, right? I have a total of $5,000 in credit. That's my total. That 30% comes from the total, not the individual. Okay? That's very important to know because sometimes we have emergencies and one of those credit cards might be maxed out. But the good thing about that is if I max out one of those credit cards and all the other 4 still remain with the total 4,000, then I'm not using over 30%. Okay? Because 30% would be what? 300 times 5, that would be 1,500. Okay? So 30% of my overall credit, I cannot use more than 30% of my overall credit at any time in order to get that complete 30%. You'll still be in the yellow, okay? Which is like you're really on the tip of going over it. So I always say, rule of thumb, let's use it between 20 and 25% of our credit. Creditors love to see 10%. So the percentage of your overall total amount of credit cards that you have, you can use up to 30%. I personally went on a journey of acquiring credit really for no particular reason at all other than to educate myself on credit. And I was able to obtain over $100,000 in credit. Just credit cards. Well, I recently had an issue with Bank of America, so they dropped me and they took about a little bit over $30,000 of that. But I'm still at the point where I'm at. I have about $80,000 in credit cards alone. Am I utilizing all of that? No, because like I said, 30% must be used at all times. So 30% of the 80,000 is what I can use. Now, you look at your overall and you calculate 30% of that. So like I gave the example of 5,000. If there's 5 credit cards, each one with $1,000 balance, well, not balance, but limit, and you utilizing $1,000 on one card. Well, that card is maxed out. So that particular credit card company may look at you and say, they really need this card. They're using the card, and you it depends on how you pay it. If you pay it on time, if you pay it on time and then you're paying more payments, they're typically more apt to give you more credit. But if you utilize that one credit card, all of that, then they may not give you, may want to give you an increase because they know they may be in risk of not receiving their money. They do look at your credit score, but they're also looking at how you're using that particular card. Now, for the credit score, overall, you're not harming yourself, but you want to think about that too. So you want to split up your debt between credit cards. So instead of using that whole credit card for $1,000, you're not over your 30%. You can use a couple hundred from each one and then pay a little over on each one. That's going to make it look like you know how to use your credit. And that's what credit utilization is all about. You know how to use your credit. You're not using too much on the card. You're not overusing your overall credit limit. And you're paying your bills in not minimum balances. You do not ever want to pay the minimum balance. So if they are looking at those things, how much you're paying. So, like I said, 30% is going to be your credit utilization. You only can use 30% or less. I say stick to 20-25%. So that way, if you do have some type of emergency, you have a little bit of space with that 5% to still use. Okay. 35%, that is the second category, which is payment history. The first one was credit utilization, how you're using your credit, and if you are utilizing it correctly, meaning you are not using over 30% of your total amount of credit. 35% payment history. This is very simple. Do you pay your bills? Yes. Do you pay them on time? Yes, that's your 35% right there. If you're paying whatever bills, house note, car note, rent, what else? Loans, any type of loans that you may get. Please, guys, stay away from these payday loans. Stay away from these car title loans, anything like that, where you can drive down the street and see 15 of them on one street. Red flag, do not do it. Okay, let's keep going with that. And like I said, basic. Do you pay your bills? And do you pay them on time? 10% is going to be your new credit. Okay, so are you able to acquire new credit? Are you able to utilize your credit correctly, like we talked about at first? Pay your bills on time. If you're able to do that, you can get new credit. Now, what new credit typically does is when somebody runs your credit, you're going to get hit for like anywhere from 2 to 5 points at the highest. It really typically is not ever 5 points. You'll see your score decrease about 5 points. Typically not that high, not that much. But you'll see your score decrease when you gain new credit. However, it will quickly increase because what does that is the inquiry on your account. And you can get over some of these where you won't have those inquiries, because typically 2 or 3 inquiries in a year is too much. So typically if you get an inquiry, you can ask the company, hey, is this going to be a soft inquiry or a hard inquiry? And a hard inquiry is those that will run your credit. And a soft inquiry is like they're just going to say, oh, okay, we see what you're looking like. We're not going to actually just run your whole credit history, but we can see your credit and the number is good. So we're going to go ahead and offer you this more credit. And the new credit will show up in there. Shoot your points up, okay? 15% is going to be the length of credit. How long you've had your credit. So typically the first credit card that you open, you want to keep it. And a lot of us get credit cards when we're young and typically don't pay them. So sometimes our length of credit is damaged. 10% is going to be your credit mix. Okay? The credit mix is how many different things do you have on your credit, right? Do you have a car note? That's a check. That's getting you closer to the 10%. Do you have a mortgage loan? That's a check. And you think about it, these are all debts, okay? So basically your credit mix has to do with how much debt you have. So car note, mortgage loan, do you have any like other loans? Do you have what's the other one? What's those loans called? Student loans. Just those different types of things. Credit cards. If you have credit cards, all of those. If you have those couple that I just named. If you have a car note, mortgage, credit cards, student loans, that's a great mix of accounts. Okay, but the other one is other loans, and that could be pretty much anything, any type of other loan, other than those four. So that's your breakdown, the 5 breakdown. We have 30% is going to be your credit utilization, how you're using your credit. Payment history, that's 35%. 10% is going to be new credit. 15% is going to be the length of the amount of time, your credit history you've had. And then the other 10% is going to be your mix of accounts of how many different types of debts you owe. And so I want to stop that video there, and the next 2 will be about how to increase your score on a weekly to monthly basis, and then also how to keep the third one will be how to keep large drops in the score from occurring. Okay, and it all has to do with these 5 things that we talked about. So I just hope that once you gain credit, you want to keep it 30% or less. Oh, and for those who may need to know about obtaining credit, where you have bad credit or you messed up your credit or whatever, we would want to get what is called a secured credit card. You don't want to go to these different places trying to get people to swipe your credit and all of that. There are many things you can do to build your credit back up. And the first thing I always tell people to do is to get them a secured credit card, where it's like you are taking the money, your own money, and putting it on that boat. That's when you are understanding these 5 things that we went over. You're ready to get in that secured credit card and start making some moves. So I hope that was informative to you guys. Until next time, see you later.